For 10,000 years, no signal had escaped the orbit of the dead star known as Caros 9. It wasn't marked on most modern star charts. The few records that mentioned it described only silence. No radiation bursts, no gravitational anomalies, no life. Just a dying sun and a relic drifting endlessly in its shadow. Vault 0. Even the name sounded like a warning. Commander Vera stood on the bridge of the Kethri exploration vessel Sable Reach, watching the ancient station rotate slowly against the dim glow of the star. Its surface was unlike anything she had ever seen, smooth in places, fractured in others, as though time itself had tried to tear it apart and failed. "Confirm we're receiving no broadcasts," she said. Her communications officer glanced over his panel. "Nothing, Commander. No hails, no automated signals. It's completely silent. Not even a beacon?" "None." Vera frowned slightly. "Then how did we find it?" No one answered. Because no one knew. The mission had come from the highest levels of the Kethri Union, an encoded directive pulled from archives so old they predated half their recorded history. The coordinates had been buried, hidden behind layers of obsolete encryption. Someone, somewhere, had wanted this place forgotten. And yet, here they were. Docking clamps engaged with a heavy metallic groan as the Sable Reach connected to the station. "Atmosphere inside is stable," the science officer reported. "Artificial. Maintained." "After 10,000 years?" someone whispered. Vera didn't respond. She was already moving. "Prepare a landing team." The airlock hissed open. A wave of cold, stale air rolled out to meet them, dry, ancient, untouched. Their boots echoed against the metallic floor as they stepped inside, the sound carrying far deeper into the station than it should have. "Lights are responding to movement," the technician noted. "Low power but still functional." Dim illumination flickered to life along the corridor, revealing walls etched with symbols no one recognized. "Not Kethri. Not any known species." "Recording everything," Vera said. "No one touches anything without clearance." Her voice was steady, but something about the place felt wrong. Not dangerous. Not yet. Just aware. They moved deeper. Corridors stretched in impossible directions, branching and folding in ways that didn't quite align with the station's exterior structure. Doors lined the walls, sealed, locked, unresponsive. Except one. At the end of the central chamber. The vault door towered over them. It was massive, at least 3 times the height of a Kethri, and composed of a material that seemed to absorb the faint light around it. At its center was a crystalline interface, pulsing softly like a heartbeat. "This is it," Vera said quietly. Her second-in-command shifted uneasily. "Commander, we don't know what this is. That's why we're here." She stepped forward. The moment her hand hovered near the interface, the crystal flared to life. "Biological signature detected," a voice echoed through the chamber. The crew froze. The voice wasn't mechanical. It wasn't artificial. It sounded alt. "State authorization," it continued. Vera hesitated only briefly. "Commander Vera, Kethri Union. Exploration directive. Invalid." The crystal pulsed brighter. "No authorization found." A murmur spread through the team. "I told you," her second whispered. "We shouldn't." "Wait," Vera said sharply. The crystal flickered again. Scanning. Analyzing. Everything stopped. The light dimmed. The voice returned. Different this time. Slower. Almost uncertain. "Override detected." The crew stared at each other. "Override," the technician repeated. "From where?" "Biological match confirmed." Vera's breath caught. "That's not possible," she said. "This station predates." "Access granted." The vault door began to move. It didn't slide open. It resisted. The metal groaned, not from rust or decay, but as if something inside was pushing back against the mechanism. Slowly, inch by inch, the gap widened. A darkness deeper than the surrounding stations spilled out. Cold. Endless. No one spoke. No one moved. Until Vera stepped forward. "Stay alert," she said. "We proceed together." The chamber beyond was vast. far larger than the exterior dimensions of the station should have allowed. Rows upon rows of data pillars stretched into the distance, each one dimly lit, each one silent. Except one. At the center. It glowed. A single column of light, suspended in midair. Within it, the file. Energy readings are off the scale, the technician whispered. This thing is still fully powered. After 10,000 years, another added. Vera approached slowly. Every instinct she had told her to stop. But curiosity pushed her forward. Scan it, she ordered. The technician's hands trembled slightly as he complied. Commander, this file is sealed. Define sealed. Not encrypted. Not locked. It's restricted. By something called. He paused. Swallowed. Galactic Protocol Omega Null. The lights in the chamber dimmed instantly. A low hum filled the air. Warning, the ancient voice echoed again. This file is restricted. Unauthorized access may result in extinction-level consequences. Silence. Heavy. Oppressive. Commander, her second said quietly. We should leave. No one argued. No one breathed. Vera stared at the glowing file. At the warning. At the weight of 10,000 years pressing down on a single decision. Then she stepped closer. Open it. The technician froze. Commander. That's an order. A long pause. Accessing file. The light intensified. The chamber seemed to contract around them. The air grew colder. And then, the file opened. At first, only static. Fragments of corrupted data. Broken images. Clarity. Stars. Burning. Worlds collapsing. Entire civilizations erased in flashes of light. The crew recoiled. What is this? A voice emerged from the chaos. Faint. Ancient. If you are seeing this. The image stabilized. A figure, unknown, alien, stood before a dying sky. Then you have already made the same mistake we did. The crew leaned closer. Drawn in. Unable to look away. Do not seek them. The recording flickered. Glitched. Then focused. At the center of the display, a single word appeared. Not translated. Not decoded. Recognized. Human. And for the first time since entering the station, Commander Vera felt something she hadn't felt in years. The word didn't disappear. It burned. Suspended in the center of the chamber like a brand pressed into reality itself. Human. No translation protocol activated. No linguistic parsing. Every member of the crew, regardless of species, training, or neural interface, understood it instantly. And that, more than anything else, unsettled them. Commander, the technician whispered, voice barely steady. The system isn't translating. It's imprinting meaning directly. Vera didn't answer. Her eyes were fixed on the projection. Continue playback. The file responded. The word faded, but not completely. It lingered, ghost-like, behind the next sequence of images. Stars reappeared. Not dying this time. Alive. Thriving. Civilizations filled the display. Massive ring worlds orbiting twin suns. Armadas of ships stretching across light years. Cities built into nebulae, glowing like constellations. Species the crew had never seen before. Species that, by all logic, should still exist. They're gone, the science officer murmured. All of them. How do you know? Someone asked. He gestured at the timeline embedded in the data stream. Because these civilizations peaked thousands of cycles ago. There's no trace of them now. No ruins. No signals. Erased, Vera said quietly. The voice returned. Clearer now. Stronger. We were many. Images of alliances appeared, councils of different species gathered together, sharing knowledge, building something vast. We were powerful. Weapons beyond comprehension flickered across the screen. Stars harnessed, gravity bent, time manipulated. We believed nothing could threaten us. The image stuttered. Shifted. A small, blue world appeared. Unremarkable. Primitive. Covered in oceans and clouds. Then we found them. The crew leaned forward. Is that? The technician began. Earth, Vera said. The file zoomed closer. Early structures. Primitive cities. Creatures moving across land. Fragile, slow, unprotected. Humans. They don't look like a threat, one of the guards muttered. They weren't, the voice replied. The crew stiffened. They were weak. The footage showed early human struggles, storms, famine, conflict among themselves. They were divided. Was fire. Destruction. They were fragile. Disease. Collapse. Near extinction. Then why? The second-in-command began. Because they survived. The tone shifted. Subtle, but unmistakable. The images began to accelerate. Time compressed. Humanity evolved. Slowly at first. Then faster. Cities grew. Technology advanced. Conflicts intensified, but so did resilience. They endured what should have destroyed them, the voice said. They adapted to every failure. The crew watched in silence as humanity spread beyond their planet. Not with overwhelming force. Not with superiority. But with persistence. They didn't conquer, Vera murmured. They stayed. Colonies appeared across harsh worlds, frozen wastelands, toxic atmospheres, unstable terrains. Humans survived in all of them. Thrived even. They made the impossible livable, the science officer said. The voice continued. We underestimated them. The visuals darkened. First contact. Alien fleets approaching Earth. Advance. Overwhelming. They saw us as a curiosity. Ships descending. Signals exchanged. Observation. They should have left. The first conflict erupted. One-sided. Human defenses shattered in moments. Cities destroyed. Millions lost. They should have surrendered. The footage slowed. Focused. A battlefield. Ruined. Burning. A group of human soldiers stood amid the wreckage. Outnumbered. Outgunned. Bleeding. Still, they advanced. They didn't. The crew felt it then. A shift in the air. A weight pressing down on them. They fought when logic demanded retreat. Images flashed, humans charging impossible odds, defending lost positions, refusing evacuation orders. They held when survival demanded surrender. A lone human barricading a breach. Another dragging wounded allies through fire. They endured when defeat was certain. The voice dropped. Lower. Colder. And they learned. The battlefield changed. The same location. Later, alien forces returned, expecting the same resistance. They didn't get it. The humans had adapted. Traps. Ambitious. New weapons built from the ruins of the last defeat. They study loss, the voice said. They turn it into advantage. The crew watched as human forces began to push back. Not quickly. Not cleanly. But relentlessly. They don't repeat mistakes, Vera whispered. No, the voice agreed. They refine them. The footage became chaotic. Battles across multiple systems. Human ships, crude compared to their enemies, yet effective. Because they changed. Constantly. They do not fight to win, the voice said. They fight to continue. The screen zoomed in again. A single human. Face bloodied. Armor cracked. Standing alone against an advancing force. The human smiled. The crew recoiled. Why are they smiling? Someone whispered. The voice answered. Because they are still alive. Silence filled the chamber. The footage slowed. Darkened. We tried to contain them. Massive fleets surrounding human systems. Blockades. Isolation. We failed. The next images were worse. We tried to erase them. Weapons capable of sterilizing entire planets. Fired. The results appeared. Human worlds, gone. A breath of relief passed through the crew. The next frame. Signals. Faint. Scattered. Survivors. They adapted. The word echoed through the chamber like a verdict. The file began to destabilize. Visuals flickering. Data fragmenting. We could not stop them. The voice faltered. For the first time, it sounded afraid. So we made a choice. The image shifted one final time. Back to the vault. Back to this station. We sealed the truth. The word returned. Brighter than before. Closer. Human. Forget them, the voice whispered. Or join us in extinction. The file ended. Darkness flooded the chamber. No one moved. No one spoke. Finally, the technician broke the silence. They're gone, right? Vera didn't answer immediately. Her eyes remained fixed on the space where the word had been. Solid. She spoke. Run a search. Run a search. Commander Vera's voice cut cleanly through the silence left behind by the file. For a moment, no one moved. The weight of what they had just seen still hung in the air, heavy, suffocating. Entire civilizations erased. A species that refused extinction. A warning 10,000 years old, and still active. Commander, the technician said cautiously, the file explicitly warned. I know what it said, Vera interrupted. Run the search. There was something in her tone now. Not defiance. Determination. The technician swallowed and turned back to his console, hands hovering uncertainly above the controls. Searching for? Human, he confirmed. The system paused. Processing. Result. No active human civilization detected. A collective breath escaped the crew. Relief. Immediate. Powerful. They're gone, one of the guards said quietly. Extinct, another added. 10,000 years is more than enough time, the science officer said. Even a species like that, eventually, something ends them. But Vera didn't relax. Didn't move. Didn't look away from the darkened projection. Expand the search, she said. The technician hesitated again. Commander, there's nothing else to search. No confirmed records, no signals, no. Anything, she said, turning to him. I want anything that doesn't make sense. Any anomaly. Any unexplained signal, pattern, or system irregularity. The pause. Yes, Commander. The system adjusted parameters. The chamber hummed softly as ancient processors, older than most known civilizations, shifted into deeper analysis. Scanning for anomalous data across known sectors, the system announced. Time passed. Longer than it should have. That's strange, the technician muttered. What is? Vera asked. This system, it's not searching like ours do. It's not pulling from a database. It's filtering reality. What does that mean? Her second-in-command asked. It's not looking for known data, the technician said slowly. It's looking for things that were hidden. The lights flickered. Just for a moment. Anomaly detected. Every head snapped toward the central display. Location? Vera demanded. Outer rim. Sector designation, unknown. Unknown, the science officer echoed. That's not possible. Every sector is mapped. Not this one, the technician said. There's nothing here. No official record. No stellar classification. Then what is it? Vera asked. The technician hesitated. Empty. The display shifted. A star system appeared. Or what should have been a star system. There was a star. Faint. Dying. But everything else was wrong. No planetary signatures, the science officer said, frowning. No asteroid belts. No debris fields. It's like the system was cleaned. Or erased, someone whispered. Enhance, Vera ordered. The system zoomed in. Closer. Closer. First. Nothing. A flicker. Hold, the technician said, eyes narrowing. Did you see that? I didn't see anything, the guard replied. Replay. The system looped the scan. Fin. It appeared. A signal. Faint. Barely distinguishable from background noise. But it was there. Signal confirmed, the system announced. Origin, planetary surface. A chill ran through the room. Play it, Vera said. The audio channel opened. Static filled the chamber. Crackling. Broken. Ancient. One. The voice cut in and out. Distorted beyond recognition. Anyone finds? The crew leaned in. No one breathed. This. The signal stabilized. Just for a second. And then, it became clear. A voice. Human. If anyone finds this. The words echoed through the chamber. Alive. Present. The technician's hands trembled. That's not possible. Play it again, Vera said. The message repeated. Clearer this time. If anyone finds this, we're still here. Silence fell. Complete. Absolute. No, the science officer said immediately. No, that's impossible. The system said. The system said no active civilization, Vera interrupted. Her eyes were locked on the display. That doesn't mean none exist. The guard took a step back. Commander, if they're still alive. Then the file wasn't a record, Vera said quietly. It was a warning. The signal played again. Looping. Endless. If anyone finds this, we're still here. Timestamp. Vera asked. The technician checked. His expression changed. Commander. What is it? It's recent. A ripple of unease spread through the crew. How recent? Her second asked. The technician swallowed. Less than 1 cycle old. The room went cold. That's not possible, the science officer said. That system is uncharted. Unregistered. No one should even. They wanted it that way, Vera said. The realization settled over them. Heavy. Inevitable. They didn't go extinct, she continued. They disappeared. The signal crackled again. But this time, there was something new. A second voice. Faint. In the background. Told you they'd come back. The transmission cut abruptly. The system fell silent. No static. No echo. Nothing. Commander, the technician whispered. What do we do? Vera didn't answer immediately. Her gaze remained fixed on the empty system. On the place that wasn't supposed to exist. On the signal that shouldn't be there. She turned. Set a course. The crew froze. You can't be serious, her second said. That file, those warnings, everything we just saw, is exactly why we're going, Vera said. A long silence followed. You all saw it, she continued. You all heard it. Every civilization that ignored them is gone. She stepped closer to the viewport, the dead star casting faint light across her face. But one thing doesn't add up. What? The technician asked. Vera's voice dropped. If humans destroy everything they encounter. She looked back at her crew. Then who sealed that file? No one had an answer. Prepare for departure, she said. Outside, the ancient station remained silent. Watching. As the Sable Reach disengaged and turned toward the impossible system. Toward the signal. Toward something that had survived 10,000 years. And didn't want to be found. The outer rim had always been quiet. Not peaceful, never that. Just distant. Forgotten. A place where stars burned alone and no one came looking. But this system didn't feel forgotten. It felt hidden. Dropping out of warp in 3, 2, 1. Space snapped back into place. The Sable Reach emerged into darkness. Not the usual emptiness of space. Something deeper. Status report, Vera said. Her voice sounded smaller here. Contained. Star confirmed, the science officer replied. Spectral class unstable. It should have collapsed centuries ago. But it hasn't, Vera said. No. The view screen adjusted. The star flickered weakly, like it was struggling to stay alive. Or being forced to. No debris, the technician added. No asteroid fields. No orbital remnants. It's exactly like the scan. Clean, Vera said. Too clean. Picking up the signal again, the comms officer said suddenly. The room froze. Source. Planetary surface. The display shifted. A planet rotated slowly into view. The cloud covered. Almost invisible against the void. That's impossible, the science officer whispered. There were no planetary readings. There are now, Vera said. Scans are fluctuating, the technician said. It's like the planet wasn't there before. Silence. Take us closer. The ship descended through the upper atmosphere. Clouds swallowed them instantly, thick, gray, endless. Lightning flashed in the distance, but there was no thunder. Just light. Silent. "This place is wrong," one of the guards muttered. "Surface approaching," the pilot said. The clouds parted, and the world beneath revealed itself. Empty, flat, endless. No cities, no structures, no signs of civilization. "Life scans?" Ver asked. The technician hesitated. "Inconclusive." "Inconclusive?" her second repeated. "It's either there or it's not." "It's both," the technician said. The ship settled onto the surface. A low hum vibrated through the hull. "Landing complete." No one moved. "Open the ramp," Vera said. The ramp lowered slowly. Cold air drifted inside. Still silent. They stepped out. The ground beneath their boots felt solid. But not natural. Too smooth. Too uniform. "Spread out," Vera ordered. "Stay within visual range." The team moved cautiously. Weapons ready. Eyes scanning. Nothing. No wind. No sound. No movement. "Commander," the science officer said quietly, "this planet shouldn't exist." Vera didn't respond. She was watching the horizon. Something felt off. Not danger. Expectation. Movement. At first, just shadows. Shifting. Forming. Figures. The crew snapped into formation. Weapons raised. "They're humanoid," one of the guards said. The figures stepped forward. Out of the darkness. Human. Unarmed. Unarmored. Watching. "Hold fire," Vera said. The humans stopped a short distance away. Not defensive. Not aggressive. Just present. One of them stepped forward. "Older. Come." "We were wondering when you'd come," he said. The crew tensed. "You knew we were coming?" Vera asked. The man nodded. "You opened the file." A ripple of unease passed through the team. "How long have you been here?" Vera asked. The man tilted his head slightly. "Long enough." "That's not an answer." "It is," he said. Silence. "Why hide?" Vera pressed. The man looked around. At the empty world. At the endless horizon. Then back at her. "Because last time, we didn't." The words settled heavily. "What happened last time?" her second asked. The man didn't answer. Instead, he looked down. The ground trembled. At first, barely noticeable. A subtle vibration beneath their feet. Then stronger. "What is that?" one of the guards shouted. "Seismic activity increasing," the technician said. "Source below us." "How far below?" Vera asked. The technician checked. Then froze. "Commander." "What?" "It's not deep." The ground cracked. A thin line split across the surface. Glowing faintly. Then widened. Light spilled out. Blinding. The crew stumbled back. Weapons raised. "What did you do?" the second shouted at the humans. The man didn't move. Didn't react. "You think the file was a warning about us," he said calmly. The ground split further. The light intensified. It wasn't. The planet began to shift. Cracks spread in every direction. Lines of light carving across the surface like veins. The air grew heavy. Thick. "What is this?" Vera demanded. The man finally looked at her directly. And for the first time, there was something in his eyes. Not fear. Regret. "We didn't win those wars," he said softly. The ground beneath them collapsed. A massive fracture opened. Endless. And we didn't lose them either. Something moved below. Not a creature. Not a machine. Something vast. Ancient. Awake. "That's why we disappeared," the man said. The light surged upward, engulfing everything. "We weren't hiding from you." The sky darkened. Stars above flickered. Vanished. One by one. The crew stared upward in horror. "What's happening to the stars?" someone screamed. Vera's voice came out as a whisper. "Something's turning them off." The man nodded slowly. "That's what the file was trying to tell you." The ground shook violently. The light exploded outward. And from the depths, something began to rise. The light didn't just rise. It unfolded. Like something too large to exist in a single direction was forcing itself into reality. The fracture in the planet widened, peeled open, as if the world itself had been nothing more than a shell. A seal. Fall back. Commander Vera shouted. Her voice barely carried over the low, bone-deep vibration shaking the ground beneath them. The crew scrambled toward the ship. But the surface was changing too fast. Cracks spread like veins of fire, splitting the planet into shifting plates that moved with unnatural precision, like parts of a machine waking from dormancy. "This isn't tectonic," the technician yelled. "It's controlled." The sky darkened further. Not from clouds. From absence. Stars, distant, eternal, untouchable, were disappearing. One by one. "No," the science officer whispered. "That's not possible. Nothing can affect stars across that distance." "Something is," Vera said. A deep sound rolled through the air. Not a roar. Not an explosion. The pulse. The kind of sound you don't hear with your ears, but feel in your bones. The humans didn't run. They didn't panic. They stood at the edge of the fracture, watching. "You knew this would happen," Vera said, turning to the older man. He nodded once. "You called it," she continued. "That signal, you wanted someone to find you." "Yes." "Why?" The man looked at her, not with pride, not with defiance, but with something far heavier. Because it was getting quiet again. Another pulse. Stronger. The crack widened further. Light poured out, not bright, not warm, but wrong. Colors that didn't exist. Shapes that refused to hold still. "It feeds on silence," the man said. "What does?" Vera demanded. The answer came from below. Something emerged. First, just a shadow. And then, the realization that what they were seeing was only a fraction of it. It didn't have a single shape. It didn't follow any law of structure or biology. It was vast, stretching beyond the horizon, beyond the sky, beyond what their minds could process. "It's not in the planet," the technician whispered, voice shaking. "It is the planet." "No," the man corrected softly. "It was under it." The ground collapsed inward, revealing layers upon layers of something that wasn't rock, wasn't metal, something alive, yet not. The thing moved. And with that movement, another star vanished. The crew staggered. Some fell to their knees. Others simply stared, unable to process what they were witnessing. "It's turning them off," the science officer said, his voice breaking. "Like lights." "Like signals," the man said. Vera turned sharply. "Signals?" The man nodded. "It doesn't hunt matter. Or energy." Another pulse. Closer. "It hunts presence." The realization hit her like a shockwave. "It hunts civilizations." "Yes." The sky flickered again. 3 more stars went out. The darkness deepened. "And humans," Vera said slowly, "you survived it." The man looked at her. For a time. Another shift. The creature, if it could even be called that, began to rise further. Parts of it unfolded into the sky, blotting out what little light remained. "It found us first," the man continued. "Before the wars. Before the expansion." Images from the file flashed in Vera's mind. The destruction. The fear. "We thought we were fighting each other," he said. "We thought we were the danger." A bitter smile touched his face. "We were wrong." The ground beneath them split again. The sable reach tilted dangerously as the surface beneath it fractured. "Commander, we need to leave, now," the pilot shouted over comms. Vera didn't move. "You sealed the file," she said. "You hid yourselves." "Yes." "To survive." The man shook his head. "To be forgotten." Another pulse. This one stronger than the rest. The crew screamed as the air itself seemed to distort. Reality bending, folding under pressure. "It hunts awareness," the man said. "The more a civilization spreads, the louder it becomes." "And you went silent," Vera said. "We had to." The creature rose higher. Its form now stretching into the upper atmosphere, into space itself. "But then," Vera said slowly, "we opened the file." The man met her gaze. "Yes. And it heard us." Silence. Heavy. Final. "You didn't just find us," he said. "You reminded it." Another star vanished. Closer now. Much closer. The crew panicked. Some ran for the ship. Some froze. Vera stood still. Watching. Understanding. This is why the civilizations in the file disappeared, she said. Yes. They weren't destroyed by humans. No. They were found. The man nodded. The creature shifted. And for the first time, it noticed them. Not physically. Not visually. But aware. Every mind present felt it. A pressure. A focus. Like being seen by something that didn't need eyes. It knows, the technician whispered. The man closed his eyes. It always does. The Sable Reach engines roared to life behind them. Commander, we're leaving, the pilot shouted. Vera turned. Looked at her crew. At the humans. At the thing rising into the sky. Can we outrun it? She asked. The man didn't hesitate. No. Can we fight it? No. Then what do we do? The man opened his eyes. And for the first time, he looked afraid. We go quiet. Another pulse. Closer. But it's too late for that now. The sky went completely dark. And the last thing Commander Vera saw, before the signal cut, was the human standing still. Not running. Not fighting. Waiting. As the universe itself began to go silent.